Hello YouTubers, this is your friend Feeding Frenzy 91, bringing you with some cartel coins this time. As I said in my previous video, if you watched it, I was going to do an overlook on the whole cartel market aspect, which I think is actually a pretty good addition when you go free to play for an MMO. So basically this is just when you go to the game, you notice this new feature here and you click it and the cartel market opens up. Now first thing you're going to see is some featured items. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over what each class of items is, what's the purpose, and then I'm going to give advice to new users on which ones to buy. So just bear with me. Now anything here, really new users, you probably don't want to buy it. Because this is just like going to have stuff that they're trying to push, like fleet passes and authorization, artifacts, equipment, and then you're going to pass like new armor and stuff. And there are basically just five real parts of it, which I'm going to focus on, and that's the packs. And there are only two right now, which basically these packs just give you, they're kind of like luck of the draw items. Like the black, then there are cosmetics, and that's just for, as you can guess, luxury. Unlocks, which is what I'm going to focus on in this real interview, equipment, and consumables, which are one-time uses. Alright, so let's start with packs. Packs are just luck of the draw items. Like this is a black market cartel pack, and what happens is you get one rare item, one rare bonus item, and if it's super rare, that's a chance, and then you get one boost item. And a boost item is basically just an item which allows you to play at subscriber level for a certain area. Like you may be getting the same amount of experience that subscribers get, or you may be getting the certain things like fleet passes, which give you the same amount, of space missions, I believe it is, as subscribers would get. That's basically, and then you get one companion gift. Now, the best deal actually, even though it's twice as much, the best deal is the Crime Lords pack. Why? Because it gives you two rare items, and it gives you the chance at getting a super rare for one of them, and then it's a better chance. Plus, it also gives you one boost item, which is the same thing, and then it gives you one crafting material, which means that for those of you who know crew skills, if you're a limited user, you only get one, so you probably won't be crafting that much. So this is really good for limited users. You get a crafting material, which could be anything really: armor, Jedi, lightsaber, crystal, stuff like that, and then it gives you one companion gift. So it really is just a better deal. And then alright, let's go on to cosmetics, which are just luxury items. They're kind of like just vanity items. Like you have these pets that can look ferocious and they walk around with you, you know. And then you got this special one, which is a special type of speeder. Don't know the exact. I was hoping honestly that those lasers would actually work, but I really doubt they do. Yeah, they don't work. But then you got the carbonite chamber, which is encase a character in carbonite while using this effect. Basically, it's just some. Alright, you can encase your own character in carbonite, and you're going to heal dead fast while out of combat. Doesn't make sense to me, because you could just use your actual heal. But other than that, yeah, like I said, these are just vanity items, not important. Now we're going to skip unlocks because I really want to talk about that, so we're going to go straight to equipment. And equipment is, once again, just like lightsaber crystals, you know, weapons. There are armors here, and the armors just a little. I don't find any real use for them because, like, alright, if I'm level 15, I'm gonna get a better armor than this anyway. Like if I do a flashpoint, like if I do the SLS, I'm gonna get better armor than this without having to pay 150 cartel coins. So I just don't find the use. And any good armor is so much more. So it's like there's basically no use for these. Unless these really high armors, but you have to be like level 43, and by the time then you can get purple armors, which is much better than these. So I wouldn't recommend buying any of these for limited users, but do what you want. And then consumables. Now consumables are useful. If like let's say you're a limited user, you don't want to pay, you don't want to let's say that you're like me, and you don't care about playing too many flashpoints or operations or space missions. Now, I'm just going to go over each consumable and show you exactly what I mean. Basically, these consumables are useless to me because I don't really care about flashpoint or space mission stuff. I'm really more into the story. But let's just go. This one is a major XP boost. Now, this is kind of useless if you ask me. You know why? Because you can actually get this consumable by doing certain missions. I think it's when you like complete certain arc missions in your story, you get this consumable to get. And basically, what it does is it gives you the same amount of XP as a subscriber would get with for an hour. And then they have this, which is a better deal, but once again, I don't find it useful. It just gives you 5, basically. And this one is worked for 3 hours, right? So it's like, it's kind of useless if you're like, 1, I prefer getting less XP because then I gain levels slower, meaning that I won't hit level 50 too quick, because before you were hitting level 50 way quicker than, because if you just logged out in a cantina, you get double experience, and really I didn't like that because you're hitting level 50 too quick and that makes the game more boring. Anyway, so let's go down to minor experience. No point. Once again, no real point in minor experience. I mean, it's just an hour, and it just doesn't really last like that. All right, fleet pass doesn't make sense to me. The fleet pass allows you to immediately travel to your fleet. Why I'm gonna pay 90 cartel coins, which is actually $1. Why would I pay $1 just for the ability to transport immediately back to my fleet when I could just take the ship on the planet I'm in? It just doesn't make sense. And then, alright, so I wouldn't buy this or any of these really. And then the medical probe process once again doesn't make sense. Why? Because what happens with the medical probe process is that if you're a limited user, you only get 5 probes, and then you have to wait a long cooldown to get another 5 basically, and it just doesn't make sense, because I'd rather wait the cooldown than pay $6 or $5.50 for this thing. But up to you. And then weekly war zones, once again, not a problem. I don't really care about war zones. Blast points, not a problem. Space missions, not. Operations, nope. None of these. Really, the only thing that makes sense to me here would be if you're a really PvPer, do this. Weekly pass to the war zones. You pay about $3 and you get a weekly pass to war zones, okay? That would make sense if you want to play for war zones or flashpoints or any of them. Alright, let's move on to what I really want to talk about today, which is unlocks. Alright, unlocks are things that stay with you for the whole game. And basically what it does is it gives you a part which are technically only available to subscribers, and if you pay, which I recommend, if you're going to buy an unlock, buy it for your whole account. Not for just one character, because then you'd have to buy it again and again. Buy it for your whole account, pay about double, but if you got like 6 characters, it's really worth it. So just do that. Now, some of these unlocks, once again, don't make much sense to me. Authorization 6 unlock, that only makes sense if you really want HK51. Now, those of you who played KOTOR would know who HK47 is and HK50, and those are basically the really high-powered assassination droids. And they're really there for comical effect, I believe, because they're pretty fun. But only get this if you really want him. If you don't care about him, don't buy it. Then you got all this authorization for event equipment, which doesn't make sense to me, because this means that basically these are just like for equipment, authorization to use certain equipment, and it just doesn't make sense. And the Galactic Trade Network, I don't really use it often, so I wouldn't, because the Galactic Trade Network just doesn't make sense to me either, too much. Anyway, and then now this stuff makes sense. All right, now the additional quick bar. If you are a new user, I would not get this till minimum level 25. Why? Because the additional quick bar is really just adding one of the quick bars either on the left or the right. And what it does is it allows you to sort out your special moves and like items and like speeders. Like before this thing went free to play and I was subscribed, I used to have all my vehicles on the right side. I used to have all my like healing stuff on the left, and then in my 2 quick slot bars in the middle, I used to have all my attacks. But that's really more just convenient. So unless you really, really hate only having 2 quick bars, don't buy this, because it's kind of a waste of time. And then cargo hold access. The reason this doesn't make sense to me is because your cargo hold already holds about like 40, maybe even 60 items. The thing is, you don't really need in this game to hold that much. Why? Because if you constantly are playing flashpoints and stuff, you're constantly getting better items. It's not like one of those games where like I haven't once gone back to one of the items I've used. And I'm pretty far in the game because the items just constantly get better. The only thing you may want to save in there is upgrades, like crystals and mods, or items that you can't use, that like items you got too early. But other than that, don't bother with this or this. And then inventory module. Once again, the problem with this is that your inventory really shrinks as you gain levels. It's just completely, by the time you get to a certain level, you're getting so much items, and so much good items too. It's not like trash items that you could just tell your companion to go sell. They're dead good items. So it's like you want to keep them just in case, and you don't want to have to get rid of them. So your inventory, if you're not paid, you cannot expand your inventory of credits. You have to use cartel coins. So for those of you really high level and have a lot of good items, I'd recommend this, because it's only about $2.50 for it. So I just recommend it. It makes sense. It just does. Okay. And then this unlock crew skill basically is just the crew skills. All right. See, if you unlock this, you'll have 3 skills rather than 2, because once you buy cartel coins, you become a preferred player and you automatically have 2. So I would recommend unlock. This is I'll get to recommendations later. Basically. All right. Now all this legacy stuff, just forget about it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Just doesn't make sense buying this stuff, because I mean, improved speeder, you're gonna go like a tiny bit faster than everybody else on a speeder. It's not gonna be much of a difference, so it doesn't make much sense. And then these, once again, unless you are in love with the species, because the game is not about the species, the game is about the classes and the characters. The species really don't get that much focus. Now it's true, like if you're a Sith, sometimes if you're a different species, sometimes the Sith will be like racist against you. They'll be saying, why is an alien on our world and stuff like that. And you do get different options, which I think is kind of cool. But basically the aliens don't mean much, so I wouldn't bother with them. You know, unless you really want certain aliens, unless you really want to be a Chiss or a Zabrak or anything, I would not bother with them. Anyway, so and these, once again, customizable titles. Come on. Why am I gonna pay like $4 for customizable titles? It just doesn't make sense. Why would I pay $4 just to make my character look a certain way? Now, if you got $4 to waste, fine. By all means, do it. But let's go back to the crew skill. This is my most recommended unlock for limited subscribers. Why? What you do is you pay $5. You get 450 cartel coins. You become a preferred player, which allows you to access trade. And trade is a big thing in this game, and it sucks that limited users don't get it. Anyway, it allows you to access trade. And then you take that 450 and you buy the crew skill slot. And what the crew skill slot does is it will give you 3 instead of 2, which is a big thing for this game, because crew skills really help you along the game. They really change the way you play. Like, you have to scavenge, you have to slice, stuff like that. It just really helps. True, it's a bonus, not necessary, but it's great. You can live with 2, but 3 is so much better. So basically that's my overview. Most of this stuff in the cartel market, don't bother with, because it's not going to change your game experience that much. But this one, crew skill, that's the biggest one. So other than that, if I bought cartel coins, I would just buy these, because these things are the real money dealers. Like, you have a chance at winning great items, and they give you stuff like your bonus boost items, stuff like that, and you know, a chance that you may get one of the consumables. And so really no point buying the consumables, might as well buy these so you get the special items. Okay, well, that is it for today. This is the Rashad McCarty on the cartel market. Next video, I want to really just look at the overview of the whole game as an entirety, not just the free-to-play model. I will mention how the free-to-play model affected the game, but I'm just going to look at the whole thing. So tune in for that, and thank you and God bless.